going to be talking a little bit more about the White Lion clubs today. Why? Because I said I would drop a review of them, my thoughts on them. I was just going to talk a little bit about them. So here's me talking a little bit more about them. So I ordered the 1 pound White Lion clubs from White Lion Athletics not long ago. I've been having some fun with them. I feel confident now in their differences, in what they help with and what they take away from, that I can talk about it, so I'm going to talk about it. First, let's talk about the specs though. So these are 18-inch clubs. They are made of pine and they weigh 1 pound. Now, Indian clubs generally, when they say they weigh 1 pound, they weigh around 1 pound. Especially the wood clubs. Polyurethane, obviously, they're mass-produced in a mold, so they come out 1 pound more often than not. But wood clubs, they vary. Sometimes it's a little bit less, sometimes it's a little bit more. I've seen pairs advertised as 1 pound that end up being like 1.5 pound. That could be fairly significant. But these clubs floored me. I always weigh my clubs when I first get them. When I weighed these ones on my food scale, they came out to 461 grams each. Exactly 461 grams each. That is the only time I've ever seen that. The closest range I've seen before is about 10 grams. I have a set of clubs that are 2,002 grams and 1,992 grams respectively. So there's only a 10-gram difference there. That was amazing to me. These are exactly the same weight to the gram, so I'm absolutely floored on that front. But I shouldn't be, because of course DJ and Stuart at White Lion made sure that they were pairing the clubs as close to each other as possible, and the manufacturing, the hand craftsmanship of these clubs was so top quality that they got it down to a gram. How amazing is that? As far as the actual shape and design of the club, every club moves a little bit differently. The shape and the design of the club cause them to move a little bit differently. How they're finished causes them to be a little bit different. So let's talk about that. So this club, obviously, if you can see it next to these polyurethanes, have a fairly thick handle. Now at this point I just want to note that because all clubs move differently, it's kind of hard to review a club. Because they all move differently, they all do something a little bit different, it's tough. What I've decided to do is not to compare them against clubs of different designs, but to just compare them against the polyurethane. Reason being, the 1 pound polyurethane club has kind of become the standard in the world right now. They're the easiest to get a hold of. They're what most people begin with. So I think it would be best to compare the wood clubs to those polyurethanes. Now I intend to make more videos like this, and I will do my best to hold to that standard or come up with a new standard that works even better. So, comparing the 1 pound wood Indian clubs from White Lion to the 1 pound polyurethane club is how we're going to progress from now. So, as we can see, the handle is a fair bit thicker on the wood compared to the polyurethane. The pommel is a fair bit larger as well. There's generally 2 ways that people finish wood clubs, that being a varnish or an oil. These ones are varnished. So because of the shape of these, the design, they're going to move a little bit differently. Now the very, very first thing I noticed with them is they're tough to moulinet. Moulinet being the forward wrist roll that most people call either a moulinet or a forward wrist roll, this right here. So with a polyurethane club, thinner handle, big pommel, I'm able to get a decent turn. Again, that's just the base. Some clubs help the turn a little bit, some clubs take away from the turn a little bit. I do hate to say that these clubs, I think, take away from the moulinet a little bit for a couple of reasons. Now, reason number 1 is the thickness of the handle. It is a very, very thick handle, which makes it so I can't really get a great grasp on this club. Now, because of that, it makes the turn a little bit weird, and I'd be worried for someone with a bit of a smaller hand. Youths, for example, would have a tough time turning wrist rolls with this club. Now, that's just a very small motion, a very small part of some people's practice, so please bear that in mind. Another thing that makes the moulinet tricky is that varnish. I prefer an oil to my club because I do a lot of wrist rolls in different ways, and an oil in the club just makes it feel like wood. The varnish can get slick as you start to get sweaty, or if you have anything else on your hands. I went to moulinet these the other day, having just eaten something, and the club went shooting across the room. Obviously, part of that's my fault. I should have cleaned my hands before I went for the swing, but later that day too, after like 10 minutes of swinging them in the humidity, my hands got a little slippery and I was sending them a little bit while doing wrist rolls. So obviously, give and take on that, or just take on that. But the give is because of that handle diameter and the size of the pommel, the inside wrist roll is easier. So there's a little bit of take in the moulinet. It's not as smooth in the moulinet because of the handle design, but there's a little bit of give because the inside wrist roll is a lot smoother, a lot easier because of the size of that handle and the size of the pommel. The transition makes it a lot easier because of how the hand has to move. So big ups on that point. Compared, and again, that's comparing them to the polyurethane. The polyurethanes, being my baseline, as they don't give, as they don't take away, they just exist. The woods, so far we know that they take away a little bit from the moulinet, but they add to the inside wrist roll. The next thing I would say that they add to, that these clubs are probably the best clubs I've used for, is circles. So a good outward front circle or an inward front circle, because of the weight distribution of this club, and again that big pommel size, it makes that circle, inward, outward, parallel, whatever, sagittal, the smoothest I've ever swung. They float when you do circles. It's a beautiful thing. I absolutely love them. They feel weightless. On the top end, you get a little bit of pull on the bottom end. It's a beautiful thing. The club just moves fantastic when it comes to circles. Love that. So weight distribution changes the way the club swings. This club has a fairly far back weight. It's deep as far as club go. It has a lot of space on the end. That makes it so that those circles feel super nice. That plus the pommel make it so those circles feel super nice. That's the give. The takeaway, unfortunately, is you don't get as much pull in your heart shapes. So swinging the club in a heart shape, you're not going to get the same kind of pull you might with other clubs, but swinging the heart shape with the polyurethane doesn't give you the torque either due to the length of them. So, does it really take away? Is there really takeaway if it compares across the club? Again, if we're just comparing them to the polyurethanes, no, there's no takeaway there. If we're comparing them to a different design of club, yes, there might be. But compared to the polyurethanes, they give you the same feeling as the polyurethanes as the outward heart shapes. The polyurethanes and the wood clubs, the wood white lines, feel the same in outward heart shapes. This is what I'm trying to say. Oof. You can tell this is the first time I've ever done like a review video. Holy. Anyways, back to the club itself. So that's a little bit, in my opinion, of a takeaway is the weight distribution is so far back, it makes the heart shape almost too easy. You don't get the same pull you would with other clubs, but again, compared to the polyurethane, they feel the same in the heart shape, in my opinion. So no real take there, just give with the circle. Now another place that they give is the snake. So because of that large pommel, I have a good secure grip on it, more secure of a grip than I might on a smaller grip. The handle, of course, aids to that as well, makes that super nice. Now the weight distribution, again, because the weight is so far back, makes pinning the club to the arm a dream. Barely have to do anything to pin it to the arm. It is awesome on that front. The length compared to the polyurethane is a little tricky to get used to for some people, especially of a smaller stature, less of a wingspan, but I still feel the length doesn't take away. It's not a takeaway in my opinion, so far just given the snakes. The only place where there might be a little takeaway is in the flick, and again, that just being the weight distribution, but compared to the polyurethanes, I don't think there is a takeaway there. Again, I think they swing just like the polyurethanes in the flick in a snake, but they have a smoother pin and a smoother transition around the arm. Now, another reason I would say these are superior in snakes compared to the polyurethane is the polyurethane is a plastic. If it gets rubbing around your arm, sometimes it builds up a ton of static. I know me personally, my forearm hairs start to stick up a little uncomfortable. I'm not a huge fan. But the wood clubs, either varnish or oil, do not do that. So this and every wood club is a give on that front. So gives. gives him the shape, or gives him the snake, gives him the circle, takes away in the wrist roll, the outside wrist roll, the moulinet, but it gives with the inside wrist roll. So overall, I definitely think these are a superior club to a standard polyurethane. Polyurethane being the base is just going to give you what a club does, a standard club does. No real takeaway, right? It's just our flat line. The wood clubs coming from White Lion, their first 100, I say are superior. I'm not going to give a star rating or anything weird like that because I don't really know how to give a star rating to something like that because like I said, every club, every wood club, every different club design, every different club shape is going to give you just a little bit different of a movement. It's going to add to something, it's going to take away something. So I really don't want to give stars because that's going to come down to your style. For me, I turn a very circular style, a lot of rotation, a lot of wrist rolls, a lot of moulinets, lots and lots of hard shapes. So this club is fun for me in my practice, especially of circles and snakes. But when it would come to my all-around practice, this would be a secondary club for me, in the sense that it works really well for a couple of things, but not all of my style. So while I do love this club and will be using it fairly extensively, it's still not quite my go-to. So I'll say that. That said, it has many great gives, very few takeaways. I think this is a club that people should invest in. I definitely do. If you want a good wood club, I do recommend this, especially if you're in Canada or the US, because shipping is not going to be a deal breaker, right? It's not too bad on shipping, especially in Canada. Speaking of pricing, they can run for, or they retail for $125. That's in Canadian dollars, which is, I don't know, it'll change on the day, but 90 bucks American. After shipping, for me, getting them from Winnipeg, where they were, to Saskatchewan, where I am, the total price was $155, but I did pay for rush shipping because I wanted it as quickly as possible. So I didn't pay $155 for shipping. That was total, so it was like 30 bucks shipping. But not quite, because there's tax and such too. You know what the deal is. It's $125 retail, figure out shipping for where you're located, and you'll go from there. Now, these clubs, like I said, are 18-inch. They are made of pine. Something I found out that I didn't know until asking DJ is these are not made in Canada. I thought that they were. I said in an earlier video that they were. I was wrong. These are not made in Canada. They are hand-turned in India. How awesome is that? These are hand-turned clubs from India. And that's part of where the tiki design comes from. Again, in a different video, I said I was going to ask why there was a tiki design on them. All the clubs have that tiki. And DJ had a beautiful explanation for it. I'm going to have to paraphrase because I just can't speak as eloquently as he can. But essentially what it breaks down to is the tiki is a combination of that kind of Middle Eastern, South Pacific area and Western cultures mashed to create the tiki. He thought it would be a fantastic way to show what would be the word? The collaboration between India and Canada to create these clubs by using that tiki idol. So essentially what I'm saying, what he is saying is the tiki is to represent the collaboration of cultures between Canada and India, and I think that's amazing. I think that's beautiful to have on there. I'm excited to see what the next batch looks like. I've heard that it's going to be a completely different club design, or at least a slightly different club design. So because of that, if you're wanting this design, this 1 pound, 18-inch made of pine, hand-turned, that is beautiful in the snakes, the best circle I've ever turned, front circle that I've ever turned, act fast, because they will sell out. There's only 100 pairs. I have a set, that means there would only be 99. I know a few more people who have sets, they are already selling, they will sell out. White Lion Athletics is where you can go ahead and get them. Again, in my opinion, compared to the polyurethane, they are the superior club. Is there some things that they don't quite aid that other clubs do? Of course, but there are those same clubs that might aid in one thing will not aid in some things that these do. It's just the fact of the club. So do I recommend these? Absolutely, hell yes. I definitely do. Get a hold of a pair. If you're swinging, tag me in your videos, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I'd love to see them. On that note, if you have questions about these clubs, questions about clubs in general, please throw them in the comments. I will record a video, I'll answer any kind of questions that pop up that I know the answers to, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much for listening to me ramble about clubs. It's a beautiful thing. I can just talk about clubs and throw it on the internet, and maybe a person or two will watch it. So thank you if you did watch, and if you did watch all the way to the end here, again, thank you very much. Please throw a question down in the comments. I will answer it. I will see you again in person and online, Frank and fam. Much love, y'all.